always tell when a streak's going to come to an end. You win a couple of games, you probably shouldn't.
There are teams out there that could use that quality of playoff goaltending. All right, Ray, you ready to do this?
Yep, let's go.
Powered by Red Media in partnership with TSN, it is season 7 of the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast, presented by our title sponsor, Tim Hortons. The Tim's Hockey Challenge is back, well underway in the Tim Hortons app with a chance to win daily and monthly prizes for picking players who you think will score. Plus, there's a chance to win a new Hyundai Tucson as part of the grand prize at the end of the season. Canadians can also try and keep a 7-day streak alive and win a free coffee or tea for a week. 7 full days. Check it out in the Tim Hortons app or in timhortons.ca. You'll get a full list of prizes to check out and, look for. You know, we participate in the Tim's Challenge every episode.
Poorly.
Poorly, yeah. And we'll get to that later in the episode. But we do it because there's an internal competition with our group. Mm-hmm. That's why we do it. And it's kind of fun. You know, gives you something added. It's added value when you're looking at the menu, the entire list of games on any given night, particularly Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you're like, okay, this brings a little twist when you can pick 3 guys that you think are going to score. Doesn't happen often, but it sometimes does for us.
Well, the 3 for 3, that's a pipe dream. I'm so far in the ditch here. I'm just looking for a 1 for 3. I gotta pick this up. I like doing it. I get up, you scroll through it, and pick my guys. And I feel strongly about my guys today. I really do.
Okay, well, we'll update that in the Tim's Hockey Challenge coming up later in this episode. You're in Vegas for the big game tonight. That is the Vegas Golden Knights. Mitch Marner and the Golden Knights hosting his former team, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Big night on TSN, big night for ESPN. You're coming in there with the swagger of a national broadcaster, just doing all the things that you need to do. So what's the feel like? You haven't been at the rink yet. It's early in the morning there in Vegas. But this one, you know, I don't know if ESPN would look at this differently. TSN, it's a regional game, right? It's a Toronto Maple Leafs regional game. So, you know, the drama and all of the expectation, anticipation is built right into it. But the Marner part of this definitely brings a little bit more juice to it, doesn't it?
Oh, for sure it does. I mean, that's why this game's, they select it. That's why they put it on, you know, the ESPN selects it to put it on their schedule of games. The Marner Toronto thing, it's crescendo, its peak is when he comes to Toronto. I mean, that's when, that's when it really will feel and look and sound a little different. He's, in both cases though, Vegas plays the night before. So they won't be at the rink in the morning. There's no media availability. Like the Vegas played last night in Los Angeles, won in overtime. By the way, if there was ever a wager to make, it would have been that last night's game, LA and Vegas would have gone to overtime. Not that who would win, just that there was going to be
extra hockey.
Yeah, of course it did. Actually, Marner scored to tie that game up. So. It is a big deal for sure. Of course, it's a bigger deal for Marner than it is for the guys on the Leafs, and yet the real big one will be when he comes back to Toronto for sure. There'll be, you know, the boom when he touches the puck and all that sort of, you know, fun stuff, and then, you know, the game will be over, and you know, I think both teams are gradually getting to a place they expected to be in the season. And you know, Vegas has really had a tough time. I mean, they haven't had their starting goalie since October 20th. Aiden Hill might actually play tonight, his first game since late October. And, you know, the Leafs, as we know, man, they had some muddy road, man, in those first couple of months. And it's been 10 or 11 games now, I guess. They've been really, really good. So it's kind of like two good teams that are kind of hitting a better part of their season.
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap a bow on it, because, you know, maybe we'll revisit on on Tuesday in the next episode, because then you are starting to look ahead to Marner's return to Toronto on next Thursday. But is this more of an individual thing in terms of tonight and the prep that goes into it? I mean, Toronto's coaches aren't talking about Marner, but I'm sure the players are. I mean, he still has friends with the Maple Leafs. And, from an emotional perspective, this is probably more about what Mitch Marner is feeling going up against his former team than anyone else.
Well, when I can only compare it to when I went back and played a team that I just came from, nobody else on my team cared about it. Right. Like, it was just another game, right?
Yeah.
But for me, of course, the only conversation is whether there's any extra money on the board. And to beat your old team, and guaranteed somebody will say, come on, these guys didn't want you, and whether they did or didn't is irrelevant. It
doesn't matter.
There's a whole little dance around the thing, but it will mean a lot to Marner. Like he would love to score tonight. He would love to win tonight, and it's the same for any player that goes and plays a team that you no longer play for.
Snow day for me, Ray. I've got to get in studio at some point today for this big match later tonight, but it is biblical, the snow that is falling.
Really?
And has fallen. I'm chuckling because I'm kind of looking out the window, and I'm not exaggerating when I say woke up to at least a foot of snow this morning. And so we haven't started the clearing process because it's still heavily snowing. Now, it solidifies why I drive a 4x4 truck, right?
Right.
Now, those are the prairie roots in me. I don't recall driving anything other than, in our kids' day when they were little, we had our second vehicle was a van to transport them all over the place. But I'll get to studio, but it's going to be an interesting trek. It really will be. It's wild.
What's crazy?
Now.
What's crazy about weather, right? Is like, so I opened up the automatic shades in this room in Vegas, and they go up. I love those things. I mean, although at night when I try to do it in the dark, I've got shades going up and blinds coming down. It's a comedy show. But it goes up. I'm like, man, not a cloud in the sky. It's beautiful. Like, it's a beautiful day.
Yeah.
It's going to be about 70 degrees, 20 degrees Celsius or so today. And then, but great day. And you're talking about snow. It's like, I'm always amazed how different the weather is in our part of the world, right? And but this will be a good time to get that snowblower all fired up, and because you haven't used it much yet, have you?
No, 2 or 3 times, which is probably standard. That's probably about average, but it's going to take a beating. It is going to be a full test today.
Okay, so you're going to get into the studio in your truck. What possible vehicle does Jeff O'Neill have to combat this?
Well, you've seen the social media commercials, and I think he still has an association with whatever dealership it is that James Duthie weaseled into years ago as part of a boondoggle. So O-Dog actually drives like this big rig. I don't know what it is, like a Lincoln or something along those lines, but it's a full size big SUV. So he'll be fine. Yeah, I think he'll be fine. And Duthie should be fine. Hayes is coming in. Actually, Brian Hayes is on the panel. Because he's always been the voice of reason. So it's nice to bring a little bit of balance to our group for this one here tonight. And he's not a Leafs fan at all, so that'll be really entertaining.
I'm on with those knuckleheads this afternoon, so he'll be all fired up for this, and he actually, what might happen? He might come up with some idea that makes no sense at all, but he sells it hard. It's a real, he'll be fired up for this tonight.
He will be. Let's get into the headlines, because there's some stories that we've talked about this week that we're going to have to revisit. The headlines on the Rain Dregs Hockey Podcast, brought to us by the Canadian Brew House. Hey, hockey lives at the Canadian Brew House. You can catch every single game with their game day prizes, the beer specials, so much more at the best hockey house in town. You can check them out at thecanadianbrewhouse.com for everything they've got going in store, or check out what the specials are specific to your local brew house this season. All right, Tuesday, Ray, you described the New York Rangers and what you were seeing or not seeing from the New York Rangers, and it wasn't pretty. I mean, you were very honest, and I thought very much on point. So Wednesday, they lose their 4th in a row on home ice, 5th overall, 5 straight, 8-4 the final to the Ottawa Senators. The Rangers now, through this 5-game skid, have allowed 30 goals in that 5 games. And JT Miller post-game, I mean, he's a captain. Normally he's a man of few words, right? He doesn't really engage. He knows what his leadership role is, and he's there. He stands in there. He tries his best, and he tries to be as honest as he can, but you can tell he's careful, because if he was being honest, it would probably live in audio headlines for a long, long time. So post-game, he says they were more ready to play. I mean, that's pretty obvious from an Ottawa perspective, but why? How can that be, given everything you've seen from the New York Rangers stumbling and bumbling this year?
I think players say they were more ready to play than us because they don't know what the hell else to say. And I think Miller's trying to be really careful, because the last time he wasn't very careful, the entire thing blew up around him, and that was in Vancouver.
Yeah.
And I do think there is some scar tissue there from the way he reacted to things and the way the situation just kept mushrooming in Vancouver. So I did that game Saturday. They lost 10-2. Like, how does that even happen? It's not Bantam, right? No. And then they go back home and they give up 8. They were down 4-0 in the first period to a team that had played the night before. So this overnight back-to-back that gets built in all the time, how tight teams get tired. It was 4-0 in the first period.
Yeah.
Like they're in a place where they play with no energy, no commitment. You've got to fight your way out of it because it's your only chance. But I'm telling you, Dregs, it's so easy when you're not playing. Like what I see, and I see this with, I can name a bunch of players around that are in slumps. Like Brock Besser would be another in Vancouver. He's got 1 goal in 28 games. They think they're working hard. They think they're working, and they're just not. They're frozen on the ice. There's no energy in anything they do. Any little play that could go forward or back, like a 50-50 play, they lose way more than they win. And if enough guys do that, pretty soon you lose most of the battles in the game. And then they don't have Shesterkin in goal. And it's not to lay this on Jonathan Quick, but Shesterkin's one of the best in the league. The Rangers, though, they're in a real spot because they do not have a whole lot of draft capital coming. They do have some picks in the draft coming up, and in the and I'm sure they're going to try and acquire more. But when Shesterkin's in goal, and you have Fox, and Miller's signed for 3-4 more years, and like, unless they move Trocheck, he's got a couple of years. Like, how do you bottom out? You don't.
No,
you don't. Like, so it's a tough spot. I mean, everybody, you can see they're not fast enough, and their D is not very good.
Yeah,
and you can't fix that. And you just can't fix it. You've got to run some contracts off the books before you can get there. But they hoped when they acquired Miller and then made him captain like 40 games into it, was that he would be this emotional bellwether for their team. And what's happening right now is his energy is the same as the team's. And that's unfortunately the mantle you get when you're the captain. Everything kind of goes around you, and man, they're just not very good, Drakes. And
no,
they're just not.
Yeah, and look, I mean, it's a different market too, right? And you've got the Dolan family who own the New York Rangers, and when that crowd gets on that team in that building, Madison Square Garden, everybody on the planet hears it. who pays attention to the hockey world, but especially James Dolan. So when you hear the fire Drury chants, Chris Drury, the general manager, that resonates. It resonates. And I'm not putting this entirely on Chris Drury. I'm not advocating for this man to be fired. He knows what his job is, and it's a difficult one right now. And you mentioned, some money has to come off the books. Well, inevitably, it will, or it might, in Artemi Panarin, right?
But I don't mean money, especially though, Drakes, because it's the players themselves. Like, it's not like there's going to be all kinds of cap room this summer and there's going to be players free all over the place. Most of the free agents get signed early, as it is now. If they can't turn Panarin into any assets and he walks out the door because he won't let them move them, then that one hurts. Right? You get nothing for him.
Well, and there was a whisper earlier in the year that Drury and the Rangers went to Paul Theophanos, who represents Artemi Panarin, to say, hey, we're interested in extending you, but we'd sure like it to be a team-friendly extension, given where you're at in your career and all. Somebody whispered the Tavares deal, which I don't think that. I mean, Artemi Panarin's not doing that. He's just not doing that. But he's got him by the you-know-what's here, Ray. Panarin.
But Drake,
no move clause.
How is anybody going to say, yeah, sure, you know what? I'd like to take less money. What I should do, come on. Yeah. Like, that's not going to work. Panarin's been their leading scorer 6 years in a row. He signed a 7-year contract. He's been their leading scorer 6 years in a row. This year's going to be 7.
Yeah.
Like he's got game still. It's not, I know you've got to be careful as the players get older, because there does become a tipping point. Like Tavares was the best Leaf by a mile in the first quarter of the season, I thought.
I agree.
I'm just looking. He had 12 goals in 21 games, and since then he's got 4 goals in 25. Players get old, and there's, you got to be careful as you're signing these guys later in their career, for sure. I understand why the Rangers did that, why Drury would have gone to the camp, but man, it's he's not going to agree to that. Certainly not early in the year.
Yeah. And then look, so you can appreciate the position that Panarin is in. Again, with that no move clause, if he decides that, okay, you know what, I'm going to potentially forego playoff participation and a chase to win a Stanley Cup this year, but for the greater good, which is unrestricted free agency. Well, that's a problem for the New York Rangers, to allow a player of that significance to walk for nothing. But the flip side is, and this happens every year, maybe not with a player of this magnitude, because this guy's a top end guy, so if he says, all right, I'll give you some wiggle room on my no move clause. Here's the list: Florida, Colorado. Good luck.
Maybe he throws Dallas. Maybe throws Dallas in there. Right?
Maybe Minnesota.
But,
good
but it's
team.
going to be it's going to be a pretty tiny list.
Tiny list. Yeah, and
now again, not in this case, Dregs, but I think people need to understand, or as we get into this time of the season, is a lot of guys will use their no move list, and they'll say the teams they will go to will be teams that they can't go to.
Yeah, for cap reasons or whatever.
Yeah, they'll make their no team. If, say, the no team list is 10, they can make it 20 in a heartbeat.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So it's quite a strategic dance that goes.
Yeah. To the New Jersey Devils. General Manager Tom Fitzgerald met with the media on Wednesday, and the collective media around the Devils would go finally, because for whatever reasons, Fitzy has been elusive to the local media, and that's his prerogative. Not every NHL general manager marches out to the media on a monthly basis. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen with every single market. He didn't dodge any of the questions there. He accepted full responsibility for that team's woes. He said, "This is on me." That's a quote. He said, "You cannot trade away or trade your way out of this. This has to come from within." And last night, the team rallied. You know, Captain Nico Hischier had a couple of goals, including the O-team winner. Jacob Markstrom was solid in net, and he hasn't been for a long time, for a better part of this year. And both Jack and Luke Hughes made their mark. They did what they have to do for this team to win on a nightly basis. So too small of a sample size, but it's at least something to build off of if you're the New Jersey Devils.
There's so much there, even in that little bit, is that, you know, you can't trade your way out of this. I think that has become more and more clear as we look at teams that are in rough spots around the league, is there are no trades that are going to save you. Your team's built in the summer, and making deals of impact during the season become more and more difficult. And everybody can see, I say this frequently, everybody can see what the problems are.
Yeah.
But you can't fix them because the teams that have the solution for you are not giving you those players.
No.
Not because there's spite, but they're like, yeah, I need that player too. I want that player. So Jersey went through a long stretch there. They didn't score. They couldn't defend. They had Hughes was out. Jack was out with his hand injury. And, it's only 2 months ago, Jersey had an amazing start. They were out of the gate fast. And then it went bad for 6 weeks. And harder to get out of it than it is to get in it. Always. And maybe they'll find a good stretch of play here. But, the Dougie Hamilton thing still kind of lingers and will linger around there. But they've played a couple of good games in a row. And, they probably have to, if they're looking for a real-time example, they can look at Winnipeg, who all of a sudden have won 4 games in a row. And you're like, well, last week they couldn't beat a Bantam team. And now they're on somewhat of a good streak here. So when it turns, it can turn fast if you're a decent team, and Jersey should be. They really should.
Yeah. The Buffalo Sabres already win their 14th in 16 games. Rasmus Dahlin scored a couple of power play goals on Wednesday night. Yeah. Buffalo scored 5 on 14 shots against the Philadelphia Flyers. And post-game, they're talking about, well, that's great. We scored 5 on 14 shots. We need to get more shots on net. 14 isn't enough. I mean, 5 goals on 14 shots. I don't even remember the last time I saw something like that. It doesn't happen it's not
you got a bad memory. You got a bad memory.
Okay.
So how long ago was it Jacob Markstrom gave up 9 on
That's true. Yes.
23 or something or other.
In the 9-0 route. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
right. Just think of that. If you're standing in there and the puck's just ping, 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 that'd be a tough one. There's a good picture of the way coaches and why they're always stressed out. There's always something, right? Like a team wins 6-2 and you'll say, man, good game. And the coach, would you see our power play? That was bad.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, but you won 6-2. Like they're always looking to fix. Like, of course, 14 shots isn't enough. It tells 2 stories, though. One that, Buffalo is on a heater and things are going their way right now. They're getting results from everybody and in every which way. That's what that tells you from the Buffalo side. From the Philly side, they're dancing around a goalie problem. And they've started to slide a little bit. They've got a lot of young people that they're waiting on in their prospect pool. But Dan Vladar's had a tremendous first part of the year and banged up a little bit now. And Sam Ersson
more testing today.
Yeah, and that's not good news. Sam Ersson has not been very good.
No.
And that's who they have in goal. So, for example, here, it's amazing sometimes how the pieces fit together. At some point here, Edmonton's got to do something in goal. If they put Calvin Pickard on waivers and keep Connor Ingram, do you think he gets by Philly?
No.
Right? Like, so now Edmonton's like, wait a minute. We can't put Pickard on waivers because if we do, we're going to lose him. And so these things that don't seem like they're connected, they are.
Yeah.
And there's just one example of it.
Yeah. So if you're Jarmo Kekalainen, now the general manager in Buffalo, are you just biding time? You know, you're barely getting warmed up in the office of GM of the Sabres. But again, he's been around for a while, and he would have been privy to conversation with Adams. And I'm sure they talked about, okay, well, what's our tipping point on Alex Tuch, right? From an annual average salary perspective, if we're extending, what's our comfort level? So they're going to continue to talk there. But wouldn't you just sit tight if you're Kekalainen and find out before the deadline what Alex Tuch is wanting to do? And if there's a breaking point, okay, you trade him. You know, you trade him. That's obvious. But you don't go searching, do you, or hunting for something bigger because you've won 14 of 16 and give away assets that might bite you in the ass down the road.
Oh, I don't think they can do that at all. Like, okay, so there's this narrative here that's popped up. I'm hearing it more and more, and certainly I hear it in Vancouver, but it's more and more. They're like, you know, once the Olympics come back, there's only 11 days till the deadline. 11 days. A team can make 6 trades in 11 days. Like, who the hell cares? They all know when the deadline is. It's not like they're going to come out of the Olympics and pull a date out of a hat, and all the GMs are going to go, oh, I got to get going. Like, that's not happening. So there's plenty of time for the Olympic shutdown to happen, right? So there's no trades allowed from the whatever that date is before the Olympics to post-Olympic, and then
February 4th.
And then if we're just using Buffalo as an example here, they got 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks to either grind in on a contract with Tuch or figure out we can't do it.
Yeah.
And once they get that clarity, because that's really the time to do it, Kekalainen, it doesn't say he can't be on the phone during the Olympics. So they got plenty of time there. It's really crazy strange to me, though. Like, you know, they were a train wreck, Buffalo. It was messy. And, you know, and then Kevin Adams gets fired. And, oh, by the way, this is Kevin Adams' team. Yeah. It's all his players. And, like, isn't it the strangest circumstance? And I'm sure coaches that get fired when a team turns around will say, well, yeah, I mean, that's what we were doing before. All of a sudden the power play got hot or the goalie got better. And it's really a strange circumstance, because as of now, the only thing Jarmo's been doing is fixing or changing his front office right into getting the personnel in to work with him, because there hasn't been any player stuff yet.
No, and in fairness, I think a lot of their winning, you know, coincides with the return of a healthy Josh Norris, because, you know, they're better up the middle of the ice, obviously, when he's healthy, and in the mix he gets hurt. He leaves the game in the second period. That, you know, he got cross-checked by Nick Seeler. So Lindy talked about it being a rib-related injury. I think we could see that based on the cross-check. But man, that kid is unlucky. He just cannot stay healthy, which, you know, could be a blow if he's out longer term. I want to wrap up headlines with a thought on Calgary, because we talk a lot about the Vancouver Canucks and the fact that, you know, Jimmy Rutherford uttered the rebuild, you know, so that takes it into a different stratosphere. We've talked a lot about what the Canucks might do. And I think we focus a fair bit on Calgary as well, given, you know, the speculation around Rasmus Andersson, which is probably well over a year old by now. I've talked about Nazem Kadri willing to be traded, and the action is picking up around him. You could see all sorts of scenarios for Kadri. I could see a return to Colorado. It would make sense. Well, he has term left in his contract. I was going to say it would make sense for Dallas, but might be a tough one, because they've got to re-up Jason Robertson. So it's not an endless, you know, cap space scenario in Dallas. Montreal, I could see Nazem Kadri. So there's all that kind of speculation. But there's also been of late talk around Blake Coleman, right? I know Pierre LeBrun has talked about Blake Coleman, and he's attached them with interest in the Montreal Canadiens. But people need to understand, you can't trade everyone. And
Right.
when I look at the Calgary Flames, okay, I can appreciate why you're going to get a good amount for Rasmus Andersson. If you trade Nazem Kadri, and it seems likely they will, you're going to get a good return. Blake Coleman's a heck of a hockey player. They love this guy in Calgary. They being the Flames, right? And Michael Backlund, has kind of been a mainstay in Calgary forever. So
Right.
I think it's less likely that Coleman and Backlund get traded than the other guys. I mean, you do have to keep guys to be competitive, don't you?
You do for sure, but they should be at a point, Dregs, that Coleman and Backlund, because those are the players you use. They don't maybe see a trade happening unless somebody says, you know what, we need them.
Yep.
And they make an offer. Like when Coleman went to Tampa, right? Remember when they built that third line overnight?
Yeah.
And they want, like, they paid a price that all of a sudden you're like, wow, they paid that for Coleman? Well, yeah, because they had a specific spot for him, and they were, they became assets that someone else needed, was willing to pay for. Like, what if one of those teams decides that you mentioned, we need this player, right? And
it's possible.
Calgary should be looking forward. They should not be looking at right now. In the position that they are. In my opinion, they should be more forward looking. And that probably that involves Kadri and Andersson for sure. I mean, they should be able to do pretty well with those two guys.
Well, and Andersson would be the first to go, likely, just because talk around him, as I said earlier, has been going on and on and on. And, if you're going to extend him, it also feels like that would have happened by now, right? You'd have been at that place where your comfort
He's not extending.
I don't think so either. And I'm surprised they don't just flat out say that, Yeah, say it.
It's been long enough. Extending. It's been long enough. Yeah. And he's going to control where he's going. Again, we talked about that no trade. Yeah. He's controlling where he's going. And so that's probably why that deal has not been done yet.
All right, those are your headlines. Thank you to the Canadian Brewhouse. It is time for Ask Ray and Dregs Anything. We'll bring in Ryan Rashog, who, he's been collecting questions now for, a few days anyway. And we gave it the social media bump yesterday. It looks like he's sitting in the dark for those of you who are joining us on. Oh, there he goes. There we go. Yeah. For those of you joining us on the YouTube channel.
Could you back up a bit?
Too close?
Thanks, buddy.
A little too much forehead in the frame?
Is that a trophy I see in the background there? I see a mini Stanley Cup. What's the other one? Is it a participation award for some softball team you played on? Or?
Randine gave him one.
Oh. Really? Well, actually, if you would like to know.
We do. We want to know.
Do you actually want to know, or are you just going to, you're not going to be able to make fun of me when I tell you what it is. You're not going to be able to make fun of me.
No, I think I know, but keep going.
Yeah, that's a Canadian Screen Award that me and our amazing TSN crew won for our documentary 29 Forever, following the Humboldt Bronco bus crash. So I proudly display it there, but we had an amazing team. So thank you for asking, guys.
And we don't say this often. That was an amazing piece that you guys put together at one of the most difficult times in the hockey community. Like that was an amazing.
It was tremendous.
It was outstanding. So we can't make fun of you, but we'll move on to something else to make fun of you.
No. I'm not making fun of him. I'm stating the obvious when I say, because I've experienced this in my time. The Canadian Screen Awards, the actual trophy is what I mean, right? It's not like it's like, okay, so TSN wins. Ryan was a key contributor. He was a big part of it, but they don't give 4 of them so that the producer gets one and Ryan gets one and the boss gets one. And, they don't do that. Like it's one.
I don't
Who
think
else
so.
got one?
I don't think I'm the only one. Simon Garan and Josh Shyman and I don't know. You know, the funny thing is I had James Duthie on our Got Your Back
Maybe
podcast
yours isn't real. Maybe it's like a fake Stanley Cup.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I get the staff Stanley Cup ring with the staff gift. I had James on the podcast and he was chirping about the, you know, you got to show your award or whatever. I'm just really proud of it. And then he just very slightly tilted his camera to the left and he had like 9 of them lined up. There was like 9 of them on his shelf. The same.
Well, okay. When you said that, I was like, man, I wish I was at home right now.
Yeah.
Yes. The first thing I thought of.
Well,
that would just be a little.
We got invited to, like James Duthie lives in a compound. He does. It's a very beautiful home. It's palatial. I'll leave it at that. So this was years ago. A group from work got invited to a dinner party that the Duthies hosted, Cheryl and James. It was very nice, very generous of them. When we arrived on scene, he had 2 Canadian Screen Award trophies, one on each edge of his driveway. They were driveway markers. Now
that's amazing.
He put them there, of course, for effect because it was all TSN people attending the party. But I mean, talk about a flex. That was a Duthie.
He's
now
such
I
a
can't
flexer.
I can't believe you didn't take one of them on the way out. Just take it.
I think I tipped one over.
Of course you did. Yes,
he wouldn't notice. He wouldn't notice. He's got 2 dozen of them. James flexes are the best. Like all those years, the Stanley Cup final. I'd be covering the Stanley Cup final. I'd be like hosting the panel, my big opportunity because Mr. Duthie had other things to do. And then every year, James would roll in. Oh, look at Dregs here. What is this? What is that, Dregs? What do we got? What's your trophy? Go ahead.
It's a Gemini. That was before the Canadian, when they actually put some thought and emphasis into who wins these things.
Was that for cleanest driveway in Manitoba? Is that what that was for?
Best barbecue, Manitoba West.
Yeah.
What's it for?
Sorry, finish your story. I was distracted.
No, I forget my story now.
It was about James and a flex at the finals.
Oh, yeah. Well, moral of the story is James would show up every year to take over for me and pretend like he didn't know who I was. So that was kind of the James Duthie flex. Anyways, enough navel gazing here, gentlemen. We had a very curious group of listeners this week, and we got lots of submissions, but a lot of them were more wanting to know about you guys a little bit and what goes on in your worlds and your routine. So a bit of hockey, but a bit of pulling back the curtain, I would say, this week. We will start with Dale Chisholm. He sent this to us via email. He says, "Hello, fellas. Was listening to you guys talk about the playoff format and how Gary Bettman seems to be the only one who really likes it. It got me thinking, if you guys were commissioner for a day, what rule change would you implement? If it were me, I think I would not allow icing on penalty kills. Probably not a popular pick, but I think it would definitely lead to more goals. You guys would probably have better ideas. Let's hear them. Keep up the great work. You guys are awesome." That's from Dale Chisholm. So
thank you, Dale. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Dale.
I don't agree, or I don't like so much the shoot it down the ice on the penalty kill. I'm okay with that. This is a rule that would only matter, I guess, in I got 2. Can I have 2 or no? One's really quick because it's only in the regular
1 and a 1A. Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is just for the regular season. In overtime, you can't regroup out to center ice. I think you could. Yeah. I think you can get outside the blue line, but you can't go over center ice. If you cross center ice, there's a whistle. Face-off goes down into your zone. You can't change players either. Like because I think it's nonsense when it's brutal. It sucks when they do that.
Ray, just to clarify, are you saying that once you gain the red line, you can't regroup past the other way on the red line, or you mean the offensive blue line? So the red line.
No, you could get into the blue line, and if you got to regroup out to center, that's fine, but no further than that. I think it would force teams to rethink that, because if you think about it, if you're going to go outside the blue line, but you can only go to the red line, you get squeezed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that's one. The second is, I think the trapezoid is backwards. I've hated it since it came in. I think the trapezoid should be smaller behind the net, and the goalie cannot go into that area to play the puck.
Oh.
And if you think about that, then you can pass it around the boards. You can dump it in, and the goalie can't go back there and stop it because he can't go behind the net. But if he wants to go to the corner to play a puck, go knock your socks off. Half the time, those guys will turn it over anyway, and more than welcome to go out there, because most of them won't.
Interesting.
But if you flip the trapezoid and squeeze it up, any puck that goes around the boards, the goalie's got to watch it go around.
Right.
And so I think that promotes entry into the zone.
I like both of those. I do. We should invite you to a GM's meeting. You got to come to Florida in March, go into the inner circle, sit at that big round table, and just pitch some of those ideas. Pitch some.
You know what? I should be there. You should be there. I'm with you. I should be, but I'm with you two donkeys, and that's I love my lot in life.
Yeah. So my one is very similar. I'll lump it in. I generally like the overtime. I would expand overtime to at least 7 minutes because I hate the shootout. I think the shootout is ridiculous. I know the games have to end. I get that. And I understand it's the star players who will be fatigued and all. I get all of that. I just feel like more overtime is better than more shootouts. And shootouts aren't that big of a deal. They're not what they once were, but I still would like to see it reduced. And I was going to add just a tag to that, and then Ray, you also grabbed it, that regroup. Now I remember answering a question earlier in the year on the quiz where I thought, I don't know, the regroup matters, just leave it the way it is. And I think it feels like it's more and more become a tactic this year more than I've noticed before, and that was since early in the year. So I think they could crack down on the regroup for sure in overtime.
Maybe a bit of a redesign on overtime, right? So if you tighten up some of those rules and then extend it, maybe that's the formula, right? Then make it 7-8 minutes, something like that. I would like to see a longer overtime before you get to a shootout. You know, the rule change I would like, it's just more implementing the rule that currently exists, which is I just think the league needs to do a better job on hitting from behind. I think it's a blind spot for some reason that this league has. I think the decisions that we see made on hitting from behind don't properly give credence to how dangerous a play it is, which is arguably the most dangerous play in hockey. How there can be a review on a hit from behind like we saw last week and it downgraded to a minor from a major when it's clearly a shove from behind. I don't know, Ray, is that not the most dangerous play in the game? I just think they got to dial that whole thing in.
3 feet around the boards, most dangerous part of a hockey rink. Yeah. And there always seems to be a reason why it's not a check from behind. And the review opens up the possibility of getting it right. And I was surprised last week, the play you're talking about, that it ended up getting reduced. I think it's really dangerous. I know the argument is, players turn their back and put themselves in that position. We're not talking about that. Like those you can weed out in a review for sure.
And did you see the one against Scott Lawton and the Leafs where he was hit from behind, and then post-game Lawton said the ref told him, well, you saw him coming. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
Well, does it matter? He hit me square in the numbers. Whether I saw him coming or not shouldn't be relevant. So it's a good one too.
Anyway, that's my soapbox. Okay, this one comes to us from Matthew Scott. A little bit of a two-part question. Dregs, if you're working a game, what are you doing while the game is being played? Do you just watch the game, or do you do and track other stuff? Ray, between periods, what are you up to? Happy New Year's, fellas, which is another debate whether we should still be saying Happy New Year's this deep into the month. We can get to that.
Why not? You're not Larry David, and if you don't see anyone first time you see him, you should say Happy New Year. Hope you have a good 2026.
Where's the cutoff,
and just
buddy?
Point of reference
like
here.
February?
Again, Exhibit A of being grammatically corrupt. It's not New Year's. Happy New Year. You're not saying Happy New Year's for 2026, 27, 28. It's a new year. It's 2026. Happy New Year.
Holy cow.
Okay.
Well,
Wow.
you just scolded
Anyway.
Matthew Scott. By the way, Matthew, thank you for contributing to our show.
Well, you could have helped the man out.
Well, I'm just reading you what the people are bringing us, Dregs. Just the common folks here. Come on, buddy.
Ron
You
Burgundy.
the grammar police. You're
Go
already
ahead,
annoying
Drake.
enough
Go
without
ahead,
being the
Drake.
grammar
Go
police too.
ahead,
Anyways,
Drake.
go ahead.
Okay. What am I doing during the game? I am posting pictures of babies who have fallen with spaghetti all over themselves on X.
Oh, Freege, hey? Our buddy Freege.
Now, in fairness, I stuff like that happens, but I mean, obviously I'm watching the game, but you are like my role is different than it would be Ray's, Duthie's, anyone's, right? Like they're looking to analyze the period. I'm hoping for something to happen. We just talked about hitting from behind. You don't want players to get hurt, but if there's something that can get me into the situation room or into the Department of Player Safety during that period for the intermission, or a disallowed goal or some sort of controversy, then that's what I'm digging for. So, and that's just not with the game I'm doing. That's when I'm in studio, that's looking at all the other games as well.
For me, we've got a room downstairs, so I've been standing for the previous 45 minutes. So go sit down, grab a water, go to the bathroom, chat. There's usually someone around the press room that's, you kind of, one of the great things, I'll say this, one of the great things about being at the rink, and you guys know this, is you run into somebody you don't intend to run into, somebody you haven't seen in a while, have a quick catch up. I get some stats. I go through there and see if there's anything that's applicable for the next period. And then I got to get out there a couple of minutes early. The producer will show me some video that we might start the next period with. And then
do you request that video, Ray? Just to point, I don't know, some might be interested in this, but the things that you talk about at the start of the next period, have you let them know these are a couple of points I want to make and they gather appropriate video, or do they come to you and say, hey, here's some stuff we have for you?
A little bit of both. I am, I think, pretty active in, how about this? How about that? I'll have, as the period's going down, I write a quick note on a play or a time that happens, and then I try and give that to the truck. And that would be before I leave. Like right when the horn goes, I'll say, how about this for next period, and give them 3 things, and then they'll see if they got the right video for it.
Nice. A little pulling back the curtain for folks there. All right, this one we will wrap with. Prairie Bilbo says, if you were stranded on an island, which of the TSN or ESPN crew would you want to take with you? So let's say you can take 3 people each. Let's say it's going to be a month on a deserted island, and just to maintain sanity, good conversation, camaraderie. Who are you going with, Dregs?
Oh, I knew you were going to start with me. The O-Dog for sure.
Oh man, really?
He would. Well, he wouldn't be resourceful or helpful in any way. Well, no, he wouldn't be helpful.
That is a great statement. He wouldn't be resourceful or helpful in any way.
Can you imagine? It'd be funny for the first 45 minutes.
I feel like to survive in that sort of situation, your mental health is important. He would make me laugh. The storytelling would keep me upbeat, and I'd be willing to do most of his work in addition to my own. So the O-Dog would be one. Jesus, after that, it gets slim. Duthie, forget it. I mean, he could talk a pit bull off a meat wagon, but that's not helping me there.
Any consideration for?
He didn't even think of you,
or I don't know.
I'm trying to think of people like you've admitted on this podcast that you wouldn't last 36 hours on your own in a tough environment, in a survival situation like that, right?
True.
Kevin Sawyer. Oh yeah. Outdoorsy dude.
Is a good buddy of mine.
100%.
You should have him.
That guy knows how to build shelter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you got, Ray?
Well, I only got two. I only get two? Okay.
Well, I know,
so
but we're 90 seconds per person you're picking here, buddy. And you just texted me and said I need to be out of the show soon. So,
right. For me, first two are easy. One is my producer, Jeff Dufine. He's a funny dude. Really got some interesting. We always have really great conversation, but really interesting guy and fun. I would have him. Without question, Ivan Solkowski is our statistician, our booth coordinator. Ivan gets shit done. It doesn't matter what it is, where it is. He is the guy. Hey, Ivan, do you have a yes? You don't even have to get to the end of the sentence. Carries this backpack around. I don't know what's in it. It's as big as Brent Burns. And anything that you need is in there somewhere. He 100%. And as far as a third one, there's a lot of people tied for third, which means they're not in the first two.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I maybe for the same reason you picked I would pick Butcher Gross just for entertainment. Totally useless. Can't do a thing. Yeah. But just for odd ideas, I think he would be my third pick.
So I thought we were just picking on-air people, and Ray went with the producer. I and this is going to sound mean. It's not meant to be. I'd probably take Billy Dodson because I feel comfortable that if we were being chased down by a bear or a lion or something like that, that I could outrun him.
I knew when you went with that. You're such an asshole.
Nice. My choices are easy. I would go with ace cameraman David Parker.
Oh, you and Parker. Hey, Parks, let's go.
And I would probably
if it gets cold, you can spoon. It would be perfect.
Yeah. He takes good care of me on the road. He takes good care of me. And Mark Masters, which, by the way, that happens to be our team heading to the Olympics together. Me, Dave Parker, and Mark Masters. So we are actually going to get to spend some quality time together. So
what would Masters be able to do?
Mark is just calm in all situations. Mark is comic relief. Mark is just great people. There's never any conflict when it comes to Mark. Great conversationalist. Everywhere he goes, his wife packs him a bag of granola for every day he's on the road. So we would have granola for everybody. He has wonderful assortment of teas available all the time. He's an absolute beauty. All right. Enough of this nonsense. That was Ask Ray and Dregs Anything. We appreciate all the contributions. And yeah, that's it, guys. I'm heading out now. So you guys have a good day. Wrap up the Tim's Challenge.
Feel better, Ryan. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah. All right. From Ryan Rashog, I guess we bring in Zuby, Chris Abunia, to take us through the Tim's Challenge. And I'm just going to take it between the eyes. 0 for 3 so far this week, but I'm feeling strong going into Thursday night, Zuby. It's not looking good, though.
Yeah, so actually we got a little bit of sort of controversy, I think, to dig into here a little bit. So Dregs 0 for 3, that's leaving a window open, but unfortunately, Ray also went 0 for 3. Now, Shogger included a screen capture in the chat here.
Right.
But if you look closely at that kind of indicates that he went 1 for 3. But if you look closely at that screen capture, that's his picks from January 8th. That's not a
No, that
doesn't get them.
Picks.
Doesn't count.
So
doesn't count. There's no controversy.
But what do you think? But why was that put in the? Don't you think that was put in the chat to make us believe he went 1 for 3 in the last time? Because why would that?
No, he's not conniving enough. I think that's incompetency.
No. Yeah. Okay, so either way, it's been removed from his score, and then of course, we'll talk about another Rashog in a minute. But I went 1 for 3 on the last show, and of course, astute viewers will remember that my Jordan Spence pick was widely mocked.
Oh my God.
Zuby, that puck didn't hit the back of the net, and I was texting you.
No. That was sensational.
That was great.
Unbelievable.
So my deep cut came through for me, a 1 there. And then, but we got to talk about Randine Rashog, I think, here. Who we know is a huge fan of the Tim's Hockey Challenge and plays
Yes.
every night. And she was very proud to include on the Ray and Dregs group chat today that she went 3 for 3 last night with these names: Zegras, Batherson, and Jack Quinn, who I actually thought that I picked. When I saw he scored, I was all excited again. I thought I had gone 2 in a row on the third bucket, but I had switched it to somebody else, a power play defenseman who I thought had a better chance. But pretty incredible stuff from Randine.
Really, really good. Drake Batherson is a go-to. Yes.
You've gotten away from him somehow. How'd that happen, Drake?
Well, they must be putting him in a different bucket now, because if he's in that 2 spot, I'm there almost every single time. Guaranteed. He's money.
And then we did have this tweet that came in regarding the Tim's Hockey Challenge that said, because Ryan Rishaug is doing so poorly in his Tim's Hockey Challenge, if he finishes last, he should have to sit in a Tim Hortons for 12 hours, and every 5 Timbits he eats knocks an hour off. I think there's something here, fellas.
That's not punishment. I'd be happy to sit in Tim's for 12 hours and eat the food. That's not punishment. Deal. Done.
Now he's not even going to try. He's gonna ooh, hey, I've got 12 hours of Timbits in front of me.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Timbits knocks off, 6 hours? Like, he could sit there. It'd be fine. Do that for fun.
Just think of what you said.
What?
Each 5 Timbits knocks off an hour.
Right.
You said he eats 100 Timbits. That's 5 hours.
Oh, wow. So 7 hours. Sorry.
Shocking. The grammar police can't do math. Wrap the show, Zuby.
A little off
Wrap it.
here, yeah.
Me am gooder at math.
Anyway,
all right,
fellas,
Zuby.
hopefully everyone, let's see some 2 for 3s and some 3 for 3s here on Thursday night. Big slate of games, so let's get it done tonight, fellas.
Yeah.
Sounds
Zuby,
good, Zuby.
thanks, man.
Thank you. Tim's Hockey Challenge. Check it out. It is fun. You and I only participate twice per week. It is one of those things that I would have no problem. We should do it more. I would like.
We should.
There's nothing stopping us from doing it more. I've got a scoot here, but you're in Vegas for the Golden Knights and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then back to the homestead. What have you got for the weekend?
Yeah. Then I'm back home, and then I do not leave for the next 2 weeks. I got the Canucks are on an 8-game homestand.
Oh, nice.
Oh boy. Yeah. And so I've got 4 of those, and then I go to our outdoor game in Tampa on the 5th, or rather the 1st of February. And I'm in Tampa for a week. I've got 3 games, and then that's the Olympics. And so once I get home here, pretty okay schedule till the Olympics. Then once the Olympics come back, like once we're back started again, it's on.
Excellent. All right, buddy. Well, all the best.
Travel safe, drive safe. I hope everybody's safe around your neck of the woods, and have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe. Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you on Tuesday.
Yes, you bet. Thank you to our sponsors who continue to support the Ray and Dregs Hockey Podcast. Our title sponsor, Tim Hortons. Thank you. And thank you to the Canadian Brew House. Until next time, stay safe, everybody.